Some men climb to the very top by betraying everyone who ever trusted them. These three traitors sold out their own people for power, money, and revenge. They reached for the throne, the crown, the gold, and every single one of them came crashing back down. It's 1777, and Benedict Arnold is the bravest general in the American Army. At the Battle of Saratoga, he charges straight into British fire while other officers freeze. He's hit in the leg, but he wins the day almost single-handedly. Washington trusts him completely, and the soldiers absolutely adore him. Picture a war hero with a chest full of medals and a head full of grudges. This guy is a living legend. But here's the thing about Arnold. He feels like nobody appreciates him enough. Other officers get promoted over him, and Congress keeps questioning his expenses. He's drowning in debt, and the resentment is eating him alive. And slowly, in the dark, a terrible idea starts to take shape. It's 1780, and Arnold begs Washington for one very specific command. The fort at West Point, the key to the entire Hudson River. What he doesn't tell anyone is that the British already want it too. Washington, trusting his hero, hands the fort right over. Because Arnold has secretly been writing letters to the enemy. The price? 20,000 pounds and a rank in the British Army. They shake on it. Arnold hands over West Point, and the war could be over. Bit by bit, the hero is turning into something else entirely. He slips the secret plans to a young British officer named John Andre. Andre rides back through the night, the papers tucked inside his boot. But trust me, this is exactly where it all falls apart. 3 American militiamen stop Andre on a dark forest road. They search him, and they find the plans hidden in his boot. Just like that, the whole plot is exposed on a single sheet of paper. A rider races toward West Point to arrest the traitor before he can run. Arnold is eating breakfast when he hears that Andre has been caught. He bolts up from the table so fast the chair topples over. He leaps onto a horse and races for the river, heart pounding. He reaches a British warship with only minutes to spare. Washington arrives expecting his hero and finds an empty chair. The betrayal hits him like a hammer. Arnold got his British rank, but the British never really trusted him either. Why would they? He'd already betrayed his own side once. He spends his final years a man without a country, scraping by on a cold street. He dies in debt, far from home, asking to be buried in his old American uniform. And his name became the very word for traitor. A hero one year, a curse the next. It's 1940, and Vidkun Quisling is a man absolutely starving for power. He was once Norway's Minister of Defense, a respected officer. But his ambition burns far hotter than his loyalty ever did. When Nazi Germany sets its eyes on Norway, Quisling sees his big chance. He travels to Berlin and offers to help the Nazis take his own country. In April 1940, German forces pour across the border. Quisling rushes to the radio and declares himself the new leader of Norway, live on air. His own people are stunned. Their countryman is working for the invaders. For 5 long years, he rules as the Nazis' puppet, hunting down anyone who resists. He signs away his neighbors with a single stroke of his pen. The whole country comes to hate the very sound of his name. In fact, his name spreads across the world as a word meaning traitor. Quisling tells himself he's building a glorious new Norway. He moves into a grand mansion and plays the role of a king. Picture a man bowing to invaders while calling himself a king. But his entire throne is built on German bayonets. And in 1945, those bayonets finally break. Germany collapses, and the occupation ends almost overnight. The resistance fighters he once hunted are suddenly the ones in charge. Quisling is arrested in the very halls where he used to rule. He stands trial for treason and insists he was a patriot all along. The court doesn't buy a single word of it. The verdict comes down hard. At dawn, in a cold stone courtyard, the sentence is carried out. The man who sold his country is gone, but his name lives on forever, meaning betrayer. It's 1757 in Bengal, the richest province in all of India. Every promise he made was about to come due. The court overflows with silk, gold, and the most powerful men in the land. Mir Jafar is the commander-in-chief of the Nawab's entire army. The young Nawab, Siraj-ud-Dawla, leans on him and trusts him completely. But deep down, Mir Jafar wants that throne for himself. In the shadows, the British East India Company comes whispering. They make a secret deal over a table piled with gold. The company will crown him the new ruler. He just has to do one thing. On the battlefield, absolutely nothing. The two armies meet at Plassey, in a mango grove under heavy monsoon clouds. The Nawab has 50,000 men. The British have barely 3,000. As the battle begins, the Nawab waits for his commander to attack. But Mir Jafar just stands there, arms crossed, his huge army frozen behind him. The Nawab turns and realizes the horrible truth. He's been betrayed. His soldiers scatter in every direction, and he flees for his life. The British surge forward and win one of the most important battles in history. And Mir Jafar finally climbs onto the throne of Bengal. Bro sold an entire kingdom for a chair he'd never really own. But here's the craziest part. The throne is actually a cage. The company holds all the real power, and they drain his treasury, demanding more and more. Soon he's on his knees begging. The treasure chests scraped empty. The British officers laugh in his face and treat him like a servant. When he stops being useful, they shove him off the throne entirely. He spends his final years sick, broke, and despised by his own people. Because of his betrayal, the British went on to seize all of India. 3 traitors, 3 different ages, 3 different kinds of power. And history slammed the door on every single one of them. Time ran out, just like it always does. Because betrayal might win the moment, but history always remembers. And here's the craziest part. He handed them the keys to a continent.